Hi everybody, it's me, Tiara. I always give an introduction when I make a video. For those of you who don't know my name, I am Tiara. I am a feminine, I guess you can call activist for Black women taking back their femininity. I also am a herbalist and I heal my people with herbs. I wanted to come and sit and talk today. Well, tonight, because it's 7 o'clock Central Time where I am. But I wanted to come and talk about femininity. I've been seeing a lot of things going around on social media regarding femininity and how women feel like, you know, men don't deserve femininity from a woman. And I have to absolutely disagree, because you're not doing it solely for your mate or man. Femininity is who you are as a woman. It is how you find peace. It is how you find serenity within yourself. It is how you go day to day with conquering the world, is in your femininity. Feminism has torn apart the Black community when it comes to women, Black women and Black men. And I myself, I'm a part of a few things where, I watch other, women speak on femininity and how Black women should be and how they should act and how they should talk. One thing that I teach is that femininity is different for every woman, but there are rules and a baseline for femininity and what it looks like. And a lot of us as Black women were not taught to be feminine. We were not taught to be soft and nice and to smile when you go out into the world, or to dress nice and to be your best when you are out there into the world. A lot of us Black women in my generation and the generations before me, the last two generations before myself, were taught to stand on your own 2 feet, to be independent, not to depend on a man, not to ask him for anything, to go out into this world and make it on your own. I want to talk about the history of feminism and how it destroyed the Black woman and Black man family dynamic. I also wrote a piece about this in my group called Black Women Taking Back Their Femininity, because I think that's very important for us in this time, is to take back our femininity. A lot of people, they talk about femininity, but they never talk about the origin or how it started, how feminism started and destroyed a Black woman's femininity. It's always what a woman should do and how she should act and how she should present herself to the world. But no one speaks about the root issue that got us to where we are today. So I want to talk about the history of feminism and how it started. Now, as you all know, we can go back into time and even in, history, and we know that Black women and men were always married. Now, don't get me wrong, we always had Jezebels and, concubines, whatever. But the family structure was there. It was very important to the Black community. We didn't have an issue as Black women being wives to our husband, cooking and cleaning and working at the same time, or making sure our home is a safe space for our family when they come from out of that world that showed them so much hate and so much racism. It was our job to create that space for our family where they can let their hair down And what happened was that, um, you know, back in the times where feminism was on a rise, women didn't have many rights. Women couldn't get bank accounts without men. They couldn't get cars and houses without men. The only way that they can really get a job is if their husband was at war. And they needed to support their family. But if they had a husband, they couldn't get a job. They had to depend on him. Um, so, from what I have researched and read, is that um, there was a war, and the women had to go to work. Not black women, white women, because let me remind black women that we were still second class citizens um, to American society. We could not work unless it was in their homes, washing their clothes, taking care of their babies, doing their dishes, and cooking their meals, and running their errands. And that's even for our black men. We were still servants to who created feminism in the first place. Um, so their men went to war, and they had no choice but to get out and get a job because they had to make sure that the bills was paid. They had a house for their children that they had with their husbands. Excuse me, take a so they started a movement once they got into the workforce, and of course, every WT woman feels like she she has privilege because of who she is and who her husband is, and he's out fighting this war, and I'm having to work, and I have to be able to afford these bills while he's gone. I want a fair wage. I want to be able to um, provide for my family while my husband is away. And that's what they did. They started this movement for WT women to get equal pay so that they could support their families while their husband was away. This didn't start because women just wanted to work. No, they had to work. Um, at the time, feminism was on the rise. So as history moves on, and these women are fighting for these rights, they realize, they wanted to be independent in the world, separate from their husband's reputation. Bear with me, because I got all the details in my head, and I'm trying to fit everything into this video, but I'm not going to hold you guys that long. But there will be a part 2. And I know I write a lot in my group. I always write my words because I feel like when I put them on paper, I can explain it more in depth, what I'm trying to explain to my audience. And when I'm speaking it, it's kind of hard to get everything that's in my mind out in words. So bear with me. But these women, you know, realize, these WT women, they realized that they wanted their own status. They didn't want to be doormats to their husbands. They didn't want to be basically second class citizens after the dog. Because that term, a man's best friend is a dog, that's how WT men felt about their dogs. They were loyal to them. They protected them. They provided them. They were loyal companions. Their wives were their doormats, their slaves, their caretakers. It was a shut the F up and do what I say type of thing. So they wanted freedom, not for themselves, but from their own husbands. And around this time that they were fighting for their freedom to get away from their husbands, and they wanted a voice in the world. They wanted to be seen. They wanted to be heard. Let me tell you something. They went out in the world and they fought for their rights. But they came back home and they still cooked, clean, mop, and nurtured and took care of their families. Because whatever happens behind closed doors is not to be shared with the world. And what happens in the world, they didn't bring that home. So they can be a wife at home and go out into the world and fight for women's rights. And all along, they're a slave to their husband in the house. Now, again, that wasn't our issue as black women and black men. We have always respected each other because we had the same struggle. We came from the same place and we were tormented the same. And all we had was each other. Well, nobody giving us equal rights to go out into the workforce and work and get equal pay. Well, nobody, trying to make us equal to them. And still to this day, we still are not. So what happened was, at the time that these WT women realized that, we need some more momentum to get this thing going because, our WT men, they look at their women like, girl, shut up. Ain't nobody listening to that. We run the world and y'all gonna do what we say. So they needed more momentum to pick up their movement. And all while this is going on over here, civil rights was going on over here. You got black people together, banding together to fight for our rights, just to be seen as a human being. But over here, you got these WT women fighting because they want to be equal to their man out in the work world, into the world. They wanted to be independent outside of their home. So what they did was, the white women, WT women, came over here and grabbed women from the civil rights movement and said, hey, how about we join together and we make this movement something bigger? So we'll take feminism and we'll put it with the civil rights movement because it's so powerful. And we all gonna fight for what we want against these patriarchy men. Yeah. Our men wasn't, In our homes, they were the leaders. But out in the world, our men was just like we were. Servants and slaves and yes ma'am and yes sir. All we wanted was to be able to vote and be seen and be left alone. We didn't want to get hanged no more. We didn't want to be slaughtered in the streets no more. That was our fight because we didn't have issues with Bubba Ray at home. We didn't have those issues as black women. But what we did as a black woman was we joined forces with these WT women on their fight and lost sight of ours. So we lost momentum in our fight for who we are and having equal rights for just our skin color and joined forces with them to fight against men when that wasn't our fight. We was getting along with our men at home. Yeah, I'm starting a long time because we was getting along with our men at home. Now, don't get me wrong. You had your few bumps and bruises in black marriages where you heard about, John and beat Lucille and she done left with the kids and went to her mama's house. But that wasn't every black marriage. So again, that feminism fight wasn't ours. What they did was they made it sound good to us. Well, we can fight for women's right. Aren't you a woman? Ain't I a woman? And if you don't know what that phrase comes from, go Google it. Ain't I a woman? That's some black history for you. Ain't I a woman? Beginning of feminism. So instead of sticking together as a unit, the black man and the black woman tackle the biggest issue we have in our community. We separated ourselves. The women separated from our men and our protection and our provision and our providing of, and went over here and said we're gonna fight this fight with them because I want to be free too. Well, if this gonna get us to freedom quicker by being a woman, then I'ma join it. And screw our men. Screw our men. So we joined they fight. to join feminism because we thought it was something that was going to include us being free as a people, have rights like them as a people. But it was a lie, because while W2 women, WT women, was over here separating us from our men and telling us, you ain't got to be his doormat, you ain't got to take his crap, you ain't got to do none of that and stand up and be an independent woman, you a strong woman. They was going home to they Joey and they Bobby when they got done marching and fighting for women's rights. They was going home to their husbands, bending down and looking up to him like, I made you steak for dinner and potatoes. Because guess what? WT women didn't have to work. They wanted to. We always had to work. We come from a working class of people. Since we came over here, we had to work alongside of our men. But that didn't stop us from being women and wives and mothers and sisters and aunts and cousins and friends with our fellow black men and black women. So somewhere along this road of feminism, joining their fight, we lost sight of our own, and it hardened us as women. To where, oh, we putting in all this footwork and look at our men over there. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing a damn thing. We over here fighting for rights and, so we can, be equal and all of this. And when we finally start to see the wheels turning, on this feminism train, and we got a little piece of, oh, I can go get a job and I can go do this. We left our men over there. Look, you see my hand? We left them way over there. And forgot that we started this fight with them. And forgot that they have always protected and provided for us with the little scraps that they had. We forgot that they was the first ones to get raped, bound, choked, slapped, and humiliated in front of their family before they touched the black woman. And if you don't believe me, you better go read the Willie Lynch letters. So our men has always been our protectors. Our men has always took the heat first. Our men has always got the backlashings. But y'all say black men don't protect us and they don't deserve our femininity. Well, we turned our back on them. Women so quick to say women are the teachers and mothers of the community. We turned our back on our men. So when you turn your back on somebody, and after so long of your back being turned and cold and icy, what you think they gonna do? Keep coming, trying to beg and plead? No, they ain't gonna do that. I wouldn't. I'm a woman and I wouldn't keep coming to a back that's turned to me. So what I need my black fellow sisters to understand is do your research and your history on feminism before you claim to be so independent and on the feminism train. Because the way it's going today is way out of hand than it was back in 1960 and 1950s. The end of 1950s when it first started. Well, really got momentum because it's been here since like 1892. But that's for another day. Do your history on feminism. And I just made a post in my group the other day and I said, WT women are the face of feminism, but black women are the machine that keeps it running. We the momentum. We the one keep holding up this fight and pushing forward, and women this and black girl magic. All of that. independent. She's so strong, and she got this and she got that. And you know what WT woman doing after she get done slapping you a high five? Going home to her husband, her beautiful children, her beautiful house, and her beautiful truck that seats 12 people, with a washer and dryer, a nice paved driveway, a refrigerator full of fruits and vegetables and good meats, the best sparkling water, and all of that stuff. That's what she going on to, because she's smart. She'll fight the worldly battle of the world, but when she come home, baby, do you need? Baby, are you okay? Baby, what do you need? And what we do, we go out to the world. We go out masculine and we come home masculine. Because now we feel like, what I need you for, black man? What are you here for, black man? I'm going to leave on this note because I only do my videos for about 20 minutes. We're going to continue this conversation. I wanted to have a dialogue with a few black sisters from our group to talk about this, because I want to dig deep into the history of feminism, how it destroyed us as a black woman, and how we need to stop blaming our own men for the way that we are, because they didn't put a gun up to our head and make us do this. They didn't tell us we had to. Y'all got the wrong men as the enemy. The enemy is woman, women, yourself. You're your own worst enemy. So the reason why you can't find no man to protect, provide, and provide you provision, will give you provision, is because you didn't sabotage it. Because you didn't already took in those little trinkles of generational curses, as y'all like to say, since everybody's so woke. If I'm a strong black woman, I don't need no man, I want a man, and I deal with a man when I want to. So let's get down to the root of feminism. Let's get down to the root of the issue. Black queens, black sister. Let's spark some black magic. That's all I had to say. Happy Saturday, guys. It's beautiful for me. I'm loving it. I'm great, if y'all was wondering. Had a beautiful Saturday. And I hope y'all guys do too. And ladies, stay soft, remain feminine, and have a good Saturday. Bye, y'all.